Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. Well, we are back off a sabbatical. Your girl needed a little bit of time to get some things squared away, take a little summer relaxation with my children, but now it's back to school and back to politics because we have an entire election coming up in less than 90 days, and we got a lot of work to do. So today, we've been waiting and waiting and planning and trying to get two of my very dear friends together. We call ourselves Three the Hard Way, former ballot mates, friends, elementary school, went to the same schools. My people are here with me today. And we have Senator Chris Belt and we have candidate Latoya Greenwood. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hello.
It is great
We're so
to be
happy
back.
to be here.
No, it's so glad to have y'all back. Like, I'm so excited about today.
Glad to be here.
We have so much to discuss.
Yes, it's always a good time at Pearls and Politics.
Thank you, Soror. So Soror, that's right. My Soror, getting ready to be on the ballot with our Soror.
Yes.
The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, candidate for president.
President of these United States.
Yes. Like, what a great time to
Absolutely.
be alive, to be politically involved and astute and educated and spreading information, right?
Exactly.
Information, not misinformation.
Right.
So people can be educated and informed,
Absolutely.
register and vote. Because it doesn't serve you to be registered and not vote.
Correct.
You have got to vote.
In all elections.
Elections.
Yes.
Every single one.
Every single one.
I know we often say this is the most important, but every single one is the most important.
Yes.
So we have to get in that mind, that set of thinking that I have to vote in November 5th. And then I got to vote in April.
Absolutely.
So let's just get in the mindset of voting.
In every election. And I know you talk about how we talk about, everyone is important. And that is absolutely right. But we are literally voting for our lives this year.
Yes.
I need you to vote like your life depends on it, because it really does.
It really does. And not just you vote. You know, I often talk about supporting and endorsing. If I were to go to a restaurant, I'll support them by giving them my money and taking the meal and, being there. The endorsement comes when I leave the restaurant. And if I had a great experience, I say, Kahala, you got to go try this place, right? And so that's the difference. Yeah, we'll support with checks and I'll support you by voting. But we have to endorse one another, right? And what is that? What does it look like for us to endorse?
What does it look like?
That looks like for me
what does it look
to
like?
put my name behind Latoya Greenwood. That means that I'll go out and tell folks, hey, you need to vote for Latoya because Latoya is this, and this. We all have influence in our circles, and we're in a lot of circles. We're in the Greek circle. We're in the professional circle. We're in church circles. And so we have influence with our mouths and with our words, and we have to endorse people. It's not good enough just to say vote on September 26th when early voting starts, or November 5th on the election day. That's great if you do, and we want you to. But you got to have a plan, put a plan together, and you have to endorse people with your. We do it all the time. If we went, if we watched a movie and it was good, we say, you got to watch this movie. We hear a song, you got to listen to this song. So let's put it in play with our candidates.
Absolutely. Because I know for me, I love like spreading the word about things that I love. What do you say? Because y'all will see me on social media in a minute. I'll be like, Star Wars, they got these pink and green plants in Dearborn.
Absolutely.
And then I went, and the following week, and all the pink and green plants was gone.
Right.
So if I can do that with Dearborn and a pink and green plant, then I can do that with my favorite state rep, my favorite state senator, right? And let you all know, well, let me tell you, when I need something, I can call Latoya and I can have a conversation with her. And if there's a way that she can assist me, then she will do that because she represents all of her constituents and she wants to help. I can call folks know. They be like, that girl, that Senator Bell at Kahala,
Right.
yes, because
Mhm.
I can call him up if there's an issue and then you're going to address it or you're going to
Absolutely.
help me in any way that you can. And so I love to love on people and I love for people to be informed. That's part of this whole reason why we're here, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Political information and not misinformation, because in 20 we were targeted, right? As
Mhm.
a Black people, we were targeted because they were like, oh, they don't read. They're not going to fact check. Excuse me?
Right.
Did you not just insult me, my ancestors,
Right.
and my children?
Right.
Like, this is what we're not going to
Right.
do. And so that's why we're here, to be able to tell people, look, these are the issues. These are the candidates. And what
Mhm.
did you say? From early voting until election day,
Right.
a
Exactly.
plan and to be informed.
You got to be informed and
And
go ahead.
know about all of the ballot. So from the
Mhm.
top, of course, we are so excited about our soror Kamala.
Who?
Our soror
Oh, you mean
Kamala. Our soror Kamala
That's right.
being on the ballot, and definitely supporting her as she goes to, and she's going to be president of the United States. So
Absolutely.
let's just say
Let's just
that.
be clear.
But in understanding that, but knowing that politics is local.
Mhm.
And so it's going to be wonderful to have her in the White House, but it's going to be even better to have people that represent you locally, which is at the state level, which is in your local municipalities, your school boards, your city councils, your park districts, your judges who is representing you. All of those positions are important as we continue to try to move forward. And so, I'm running because of equity, access, and opportunity,
Come on.
and continuing to represent the people that need it the most. And when you lift up the least of those amongst us, you lift up everyone, all of us.
Absolutely.
And so we have to continue to move the 114th district forward and not backwards, not standing in place, but to move it forward. And the only way you move forward is with action. And so we
And
need
not inaction.
exactly. We need representation that is clear about action, how you start and how you finish.
Mhm.
And if you never started, you won't finish anything. And I think right now that's the type of representation that we have in the 114th
14th district.
district. A no starter, a non-starter.
Absolutely. I agree. One of my biggest pet peeves is legislators that don't legislate.
Mhm.
And as we all know, we all ran together. We were all on the ballot together. We all won together. And for you to not do the job that you're elected to do, it
Mhm.
just grinds my gears.
Mhm.
Because, it's not easy to be a politician, period.
No.
Right. And then it's super not easy to be a Black politician. And then it's super not easy to be a Black woman politician. And so for individuals to you always have to be, for you to always have to be, you're always on, right?
Mhm.
You're never off. You're always on the clock. You're never off. And for people to then come into office because they think it's the cool thing to do, right? We
Mhm.
talked
Right.
about that before we got on. It's the cool. No, it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
And you need to represent your constituents effectively.
Mhm.
And for someone to be a legislator and they haven't passed one piece of legislation,
Mhm.
why would I vote for you? Why would I
Mhm.
vote for you to be back in office when you were not properly representing your constituents by legislating?
Correct. And not only not legislating, but when you don't vote for a budget, and
There
we
it is.
we have seen this, in this case in the 114th district. When you do not vote for a budget, you are essentially voting against your constituents,
Mhm.
because how are you voting for resources to come back into the district if you vote no?
Mhm.
You're voting no on education. You're voting no on access to health care. You're voting no on our seniors and those services for the
Our children.
caregivers, our children, higher education, college students. you're voting no on everything.
Mhm.
And so to me, that says we have the absolute wrong representation in trying to represent the 114th district when you are not being the voice of all communities. We live in the 114th district, some of the poorest zip codes.
Mhm.
And to not vote on a budget when communities need those dollars and
Desperately.
resources for services
Mhm.
is just
Unconscionable.
insane. Yes.
Yes. I know I've never been closer to a state budget than I've been in my current capacity of almost 3 years, and it's been an eye opener. Wait
Mhm.
a minute.
It's a
Chris
lot.
sitting here looking at me like,
Yeah.
"Ma'am,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
I've seen your eyes open."
Right.
So,
Right.
personally, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so it's been eye-opening. So even before that, when there was no budget, we've talked
Mm.
about that 10 times on this platform, and we will talk about it again and again. When there was no budget and there were no rest stops
Mhm.
and there was no grass cutting on the highways. But let's talk about what you said inside someone's home. There was
Mhm.
no chassis.
Mhm.
There was no meals on wheels. Like there were things that people needed that they could not have that they rely on for their day-to-day lives. So then fast forward, we have our wonderful governor,
Mhm.
J.B. Pritzker, and our wonderful Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and we have our wonderful legislators that passed
6
now 6 consecutive balanced budgets.
balanced budgets.
For the people of the state of Illinois, but then you have people in pockets,
Mhm.
like the 114th district,
Mhm.
that vote no
Mhm.
on a budget. And so you have to keep those things in mind. One, when we hear people saying, "Oh, well, my vote doesn't count,"
Mm.
or, "Oh, why does it matter? I just need to focus on who's in the White House." Well, the individuals in the White House don't have anything to do with your rest stop.
Right.
Don't have anything to do with whether or not I can work on my CNA certificate and have affordable childcare
Right.
for me to better myself and my children. That's not in the that's not in DC.
Mhm.
And so again, that is so important for all of us between September 26th and November 5th to say, okay, who is representing my children, my family, my mother, my community, my church, and I properly.
Mhm. And to know that you have to know the communities that you represent.
Mm,
Because if you knew the communities that you represent, then you would know how important those services are. It's not
mhm.
in the 114th district, it's not necessarily about race, than it is about poverty.
Yes,
And so poverty is any color.
right.
And when you consistently vote no against the budget, then again, you're voting against such a large segment of people
Mhm.
that make up the 114th district.
Right.
So how do you feel about how important is it to know your constituent body?
You need to. You're in Springfield to represent them, right?
Mhm.
And so it has always been my inclination to you don't have to love the budget, but you have to look at your district and those things that can benefit your district, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
In this budget, $53 billion budget, there's um, 2% for higher education, right? There's which equals $30 million. There's
Mm.
money put in for Smart Start for universal preschool. That's
Mhm.
huge, right? Then when you drill down and make it more local, there's the reallocation of funding for Cahokia Heights with the water and the sewers, right?
Right.
So
For East St.
important.
Louis, right?
Yes.
Those things are in there. There's funding for Shiloh. There's funding for O'Fallon. There's funding for Millstock. $650,000 in there to deal with an asbestos main. Um,
Mm.
when you vote no on the budget, you vote no on all those things.
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to move some legislation along with Representative Hoffman that put money in the budget for PNA. PNA is personal needs allowance, right? For those who live in supported living facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time ever, they got an increase. It went from $90 that they have to $120. our legislation was able to raise the money that they get back to spend however they want to spend it, $30. So from 90 to 120, that's
Right.
huge.
That's huge.
Right.
But it's in the budget. So if you
Yes.
vote no on the budget, you voted no against that.
Right.
And people really need to understand the gravity. There's $3.5 billion in the budget for projects, construction, and infrastructure improvement.
Yes.
And it's so disingenuous to vote no on the budget,
Right.
speak ill against the budget, but then show up at the ribbon cutting, right? You can't have that same energy. If you
Wow.
vote no on the budget, stay away from the ribbon cutting,
Right.
Absolutely.
right? Because it's disingenuous.
Absolutely.
It's smoke and mirrors,
Mhm.
right? It's illusions.
Mhm.
You're giving off illusions like you support the budget, but anytime you get to speak about it, it's negative.
Yes.
Right.
It's negative.
And so people really need to understand the budget is how we bring projects back to our individual districts. I'm blessed to be one of 59. It's 59 state senators. And every senator is fighting for their district. And so everything in the budget is not gonna that you're gonna love it, but the things that you can get for your district. You go to Springfield to bring things back for your district and to advance policy that will help your district and subsequently help the state, right?
Right.
And so those two things are important as a legislator. If you vote no on the budget, I just find it hard for people who always vote no.
No.
You're
Right.
going to Springfield to do what?
Exactly.
What did we just say?
Right.
Exactly.
And
Everything but what you're supposed to be doing.
And if you do vote no, then do not show up for ribbon cutting. Do not get in the photos because it's really, it's not right. And you're being deceitful.
You are. And I love that you shine light on that because so many of us don't think about that, right? Because because you're literally on the ground at the Capitol, you all know who did and didn't. Now, you can absolutely find out who did and didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
right.
There is transparency in government, and you can absolutely find out who voted on what and what the vote counts were. But to be on the ground and say, not he didn't vote on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But here he is at this ribbon cut.
Right.
But again, the purpose is to inform, to let people know that just because somebody smiles and cuts the ribbon doesn't mean that they supported it. And it may be something that you really needed. It may be that new urgent care, right? Or it may be, that new public health building. It may be the new, ISP facility in East St. Louis.
Right.
And so, but here's the thing. If you don't understand anything, understand this. If your loved one or you work for state government, it's your paycheck.
It's your paycheck.
It's your ability to literally feed your children and pay your car note and pay your property taxes so they don't come take your house. Like, it is literally someone's ability to get a paycheck twice a month.
You're absolutely right. And in this budget, there's $400 million that's going to go in IDOT to help infrastructure, to help local municipalities with roads. $400 million. There's close to $1 billion that's going to LGDF. And that's the way the state funds local government. That's based on your population size. You will receive funding from the state. And it's never been that good for states.
Right.
I mean, for cities,
No.
right? We're sending money from the state to these local municipalities based on population. And if you vote no on the budget, you voted no on all that, right? So when these municipalities do wonderful things and the $400 million and you see streets and infrastructure being repaired and fixed, again, stay away from anything that has to do with the ribbon cutting.
Let that be known.
Because it really sends the wrong message. Right. It's just it's not right. There's nothing right in it. Keep your same energy that you have on the floor, that you have in committee, that you have wherever you go, right? I mean, when we voted for the historic Rebuild Illinois,
Right.
look at all the great things that
That
are
have come from
happening with
that.
Rebuild Illinois.
Mhm.
Look at your streets.
Mhm.
And all the infrastructure repairs that have been made, improvements that have been made from that. And all we heard was, oh, it's the wrong thing to do. Oh, it's this and that.
Mhm.
And yet your streets were in decay, your infrastructure, buildings crumbling, right? Now
And
look at
people
us.
are working.
And people,
And
and that's
people are
the
working.
Absolutely.
Jobs,
they're
creation.
working, they're and not just working, the wages that they're working, that they're making, family sustaining wages, right? I mean, from the southern tip of Illinois to the northern tip, there's work being done on infrastructure,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So you all have been busy.
Very.
Perfect segue. You all have been very busy. Legislating, working, putting services out into the community with shred days and different things. So let's talk about what y'all been up to and then what y'all getting ready to do heading into that home stretch.
Well, for me, I've been campaigning since last year.
You have?
So at this time, I've knocked close to 7,000 doors and getting out
Wow.
in the 114th district and meeting with constituents, hosting the coffee and conversations, partnering with Senator Belt with Shred Days, and just different community outreaches with churches as well. Making sure that we are getting the message out about various resources. But also, as we move into this final stretch, we're talking about early voting. We're talking about different ways you can access the ballot. Because as you know, Illinois is a liberal state. We're not non-restrictive in terms of access to the ballot. And so people need to know that your ballot is your voice, and we have to make it happen in November. We have to be successful. And the only way we can do that is that we develop our voting plan and make sure that we're taking people with us to vote as well. And to continue the messaging. Democrats have done the work to move us forward in Illinois. And this 114th district seat needs to have the proper representation, a person who is going to fight for the district and actually bring resources back and information to the district. So,
And actually, like you just said, that sums up in just saying bringing someone back who's going to actually work for the constituency, someone who's going to legislate, someone who's going to advocate, someone who's going to be there. Those seven, it's not going to be, I'm knocking on 7,000 doors and then you're not going to see me again. No, you have all the time that you were there. You were always actively involved. You're actively involved now. What'd you say? You've been campaigning since last year. And when you win, you will continue to be actively involved moving forward. And so that is, again, so important because, again, how are you helping me? Right? And I don't need help. No, yes, I do. Because that's not my job. I got a whole black job, but it ain't that. Okay? And so my thing is, that is your whole black job, and your whole black job is to do that. You see what I'm saying? So I need the person who is elected by the people to do that job and do it well. So then that way, my family and I have the benefit of having you in office. So yeah, so we got work to do. So what you got coming up, sir?
You know what? I tell people all the time, if you invite me, just invite me. I'll show up. If there's not
You will.
if there's not a scheduling conflict on my schedule, I will. If it's just you and I'll show up because that's what I believe in, right? I'm on the ground. I'm not in Springfield and you don't see me. I'm somewhere probably every day, right? And so I know we have a shred day coming up in Cahokia Heights at the fitness center on the 24th.
Okay.
24th.
Saturday the 24th.
Saturday the 24th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay.
And so even though it's in Cahokia Heights,
People can come from anywhere.
You can come from anywhere. Bring your stuff.
Yes.
Businesses, bring your stuff. School districts, bring your stuff out.
Churches.
And churches,
everywhere.
bring your stuff out. Bring your papers, your documents. your confidential documents, because we know identity theft is on the rise. Come out, and we do those all across our district. As you know, the 57 district encompasses the 114. And so when we work together, that's just us serving our constituent base, right? It makes sense. Why should I do something separate from Latoya when we both are Democrats and we work the same? Her district is my district, part of her
You
district.
represent the same body of people.
We're representing the same body of district. But really quickly, in terms of voting, look, Latoya mentioned it. We've expanded the right to vote in Illinois, where other states are clawing back. Illinois, if you've had an hiccup in your life and you're a convicted felon and you are out of prison or jail, your rights they come back to you automatically.
Yes, you are not disenfranchised.
You do not
in
need
the
to
state
do
of Illinois.
anything.
Right.
You don't have to jump through hoops. They come back. Now you have to have a place. You have to register. But your rights come back to you. And that's huge, because when we're canvassing and knocking on doors, as a former probation officer, I would see people who would say, Chris, I would vote for you, but I'm a felon. In Illinois, you still can't.
Absolutely.
In Illinois, children have the right. They get 2 hours to go vote. Now it's up to the school
It's one of my
district.
faves.
Right.
That's one of my
Yes.
faves.
It's up to the school district to work it out and plan it, but you have 2 hours to go vote. And I've always said, make it a part of the civic program, right? In East St. Louis, they would go down to the city hall, and the rest of the county, they will go to the courthouse, unless there's an early voting in their particular municipality. So again, we want our youth, our students, to take part in voting.
Absolutely.
Because if you start early, then you're more likely to continue to do it. So early voting starts on the 26th of September. Look, I'm going to vote on September 26th.
Okay.
Please meet me there. Join me. I'm going to bring 7. That's my plan. I would charge you. Your task is to meet me there with 7. Let's really do this, and let's get it out the way. If the doors open on September 26th at the courthouse, let's do it. Let's get it accounted for and taken care of. We have nothing else to worry about going forward relative to the election and that whole process. Let's get that done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
like our president-to-be, Kamala, has said, we are not going back.
No. Ever.
And my hashtag is, we have more work to do.
Yes.
We are not going back, because we have so much more work to do
Absolutely.
to help uplift people in this state and in our community. So we got to get out and do the work. We have to get out and do the work.
And understand this
I'm
about
so
the
ready.
voting, the whole electoral process. It's really it's not about the person per se, it's about the platform, right? It's bigger than the person. And you may not like some things about me, and that's okay. I don't want you to invite me. If you don't like me, we don't have to go out. We don't have to
do dinner.
You don't
We
have
don't
to
have to
invite
do
me to
dinner.
Sunday dinner. But if I represent relative to the people on the ballot, if I represent more of the things that you see yourself doing, or more the persuasion that you represent, then you should vote. Spoiler alert, there's no perfect candidate. I'll just cut to that now,
No.
right? So if you're looking for that, that's not there.
No.
But you should vote for the person who represents you the best that they can.
The most closely. And so
Right.
again, that was always my thing. I never swore everything that I did was perfect, because nobody's perfect.
Nobody's
right?
perfect.
But I can promise you this. I did my best, and I did it well.
Right.
So you have to be able to separate, I don't like the way she wears her hair.
Right.
I don't wear red shoes, or
Right.
well, I mean, the silliest things. And so we have to stop majoring in the minor.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it's not getting us anywhere.
Right.
It's killing the movement. So, one thing I keep hearing, well, he should have said that he wasn't going to move forward last year. Okay.
Mhm.
And what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we here today.
Right.
It's
Right.
her today.
Right.
Mhm.
We're with her.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And with you.
Mhm.
And
Right.
that's where we're at. So
Mhm.
why is that even a topic of discussion? Oh, because you like the major and the minor. You
You're
like
right.
well, she's a one. So what do you have daughters?
Right.
Right.
Do you have daughters? And you just said to me that, well, she's a what? I said, I saw it on Facebook and I loved it. The woman in power that you're speaking poorly of will never hear what you said,
Mhm.
but your daughter will.
That's right.
I
Mhm.
said, oh my goodness.
That's right.
I
Mhm.
said, well, if that's not it,
That's
because all the hating and naysaying that we have heard,
Mhm.
we didn't hear it because you didn't say it to my
right.
face.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
You
right.
didn't say it to my face.
Right.
Mhm.
But what she say? Oh,
Right.
Your daughter.
what she tell him?
Mhm.
You got something to say it to my face. I said, oh, that's it for me. I
Right.
said, I was with her anyway. I said, but baby, I'm big on saying it to my face, but you won't.
Right.
So my point is all of these extra extraneous, frivolous, non-meritorious things, we have to put them to the side to keep our autonomy as women,
Mhm.
Yeah.
to keep all the things that they are trying to take from us, to keep our veterans and all the benefits that they get and them being properly cared for. All those things that the 2025 and all those other things are trying to, if they're elected, try to take away
Mhm.
from us. Like IVF, you
Exactly.
might not, excuse me.
Exactly.
Like when I think how easy it was to in the beginning, and then it was when Caitlin came along, I was like, thank you, Jesus. To think
Yes.
that if I had ever decided, okay, well, I want to do IVF or I need
Mhm.
IVF, how many women do we know personally that need IVF?
Exactly.
And so these are the things that I am just begging you, right? Get registered, get informed and educated on all the issues and all the people that are running, and vote.
Mhm.
Whether from September to November, we just need you to vote.
We just need you to vote. And we just need you to vote. We understand that it is a personal, it's your prerogative.
Mm.
But I would argue that you need to vote. I would argue in the state of Illinois that there's no reason not to vote. If you don't want to
Mm-mm.
you don't
Mm-mm.
want to physically walk into the courthouse or a polling booth, that's fine. It'll come to your door,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So give me, other than just saying I'm not doing it, give me the reason why you want. You want to go to curbside.
Yes.
We've given that right,
Yeah.
right?
If you don't want to, then just say that, right?
Then just say
that.
But
Mhm.
then
But all of that
I'll ask
smoke and
you.
mirrors.
I'll
Yes.
ask you then.
Smoke and
Don't complain
mirrors.
because you forfeited your right
Mhm.
Mhm.
to have a voice, right?
Right.
It's like you won't vote or you don't vote, but you'll complain
Mhm.
because your voice does matter. And
Mhm.
so why lend your voice to negativity when you can help bring about some of the solution?
Exactly.
It's not a perfect system, right? It's never going to be perfect.
No.
But let's move it towards a more perfect union.
Mhm.
And so believe in that because it matters.
Mhm.
It matters, and give your voice up and have influence and bring your team with you.
Mhm.
And that's the only way it'll work. It really
Mhm.
does work.
And let's win.
And let's
Let's
win.
win.
And let's win.
And let's
Let's
win.
win.
Let's win.
So
Let's
like we
win.
said, we were her
Mhm.
and we with you.
Mm.
I posted it with my button. What I called you. I was like, it said, I'm with her too, baby.
Right.
I'm with my soror too since
Right.
St. Joseph's and
Mhm.
and walking and knocking together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we close,
Mhm.
we with you too. So what?
We just have to get out the vote. Again, it's urgency. We should
Mhm.
be moving with urgency
Mm-hmm.
in this election to not only be it a historic presidential,
Mm-hmm.
but historic all around.
Absolutely.
Down the ballot, we need to make history in how we turn out the vote. So that's the only thing I have left. We have to vote like our lives really depend
on it.
on it. And we have to vote for proper representation.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to be your voice? That really is the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Who is serving your best interest? And I believe I am that person for the 114th
Exa-
district.
Absolutely, you are. No question. No
Yeah.
question.
And let me say this, just in terms of voting, understanding the anatomy of a bill, so to speak, right? You can get Madam Vice President to become the president,
Mhm.
but if she doesn't have control of Congress, it means nothing. If you don't have control of the Senate and the House,
Mhm.
it means nothing. So to Latoya's point, when you vote, go down that ballot
Mhm.
and vote. My inclination, vote Dems all the way down,
All
right?
the way.
You
All the
know,
way.
you
The
you
way from
right,
top to
and the back.
bottom.
right,
Okay.
the
'Cause it's gonna
front
be a
and the
back.
back. You go down and vote because we seen it with President Obama. If you don't have control of either side of that Congress, they can stall it. They
Mhm.
can stifle it,
Mhm.
right? A
Absolutely.
bill has to pass both
Both
chambers
chambers.
and then go
Absolutely.
to, in this case, the president. In our case, go to the governor.
Mhm.
It helps to have a
Well,
supermajority.
we have a super
We have a
majority.
supermajority
Mhm.
and a Democratic governor. And so you've seen nothing but progress.
Absolutely.
If you don't have either, if we didn't have either in either chamber, it would be a problem,
Right.
A more
right?
difficult
And
process.
so
Absolutely.
let's get Kamala in, but let's also get Nikki in. Let's go down that and vote Dems in. And let's move this. If progress is really what we
What
want,
you want.
right?
Mhm.
It's great to be
We
historic.
gonna see.
It's great to be
We gonna put
historic,
that vote where that mouth is.
but she would be a lame duck if we don't give her
What she needs.
the tools to work with.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, this was wonderful.
Always.
I just love having my people with me. And so I am just so ready
Mhm.
to knock doors,
Mhm.
to do all the things that you need me to do. I'm so ready to wear this to the grocery store
Mhm.
That's right.
and to go get my hair done.
You know why? Because that's an endorsement.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You could vote for it by yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
But you're wearing her shirt that shows, hey,
Yeah,
I endorse her.
absolutely. Because she is the only, not just the best, but the only candidate for the job.
There you
All
go.
right.
Well, y'all coming back. I don't have to ask those kind of crazy questions. Y'all will be back and probably back before the election is over. And we're gonna have to bring some more people with y'all. We already talked about that.
Sounds good.
We're gonna bring some more people with y'all, but you all are amazing. Thank you for legislating. Thank you for caring about your constituents. Thank you for caring about me,
Mm.
for caring about me
Yeah.
and my family, and the families of all the people in the 114th and the 57th.
Mhm.
To watch you all move the way you do is so inspiring. It really is. And I just be like, and they just be out there suited and booted and looking all good and educated and melanated and y'all just be out there doing it. And I truly, truly appreciate you all and the way you all have supported me no matter what it was that I did. And I
Mhm.
thank you. I thank you.
Well, we thank you as well for this
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful platform.
Yes.
We thank you for being authentic.
Mhm.
You know,
Thank you.
All the time.
because
All
life,
the
life,
time.
life be life, right?
Yes. So
Yes.
genuine.
And so genuine.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you for tuning in today to Pros and Politics Podcast. So we are back full throttle on the politics because, hey, our lives depend on being informed and being educated and rocking that vote. So thank you for tuning in today. Please tune in again next week. But in the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you. Go get registered. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Latoya Greenwood, candidate for state representative for the 114th district. I am asking you to not only to meet me at the polls, but beat me to the polls as we start early voting on September 26th. Again, early voting will start on September 26th as we count down the days to Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 5th. I need your support, and together we will make a difference for the 114th district.